America has always ruled the skies, but some flights never return. In the summer of 1953, a commercial plane lifted off from Las Vegas, its destination Los Angeles. But the plane never arrived. Radar showed it moving across the desert and then nothing. It vanished without a trace. The Air Force searched the Nevada desert for days, but they found no wreckage, no bodies, no black box. Just silence. Newspapers printed bold headlines. People whispered about sabotage, government experiments, even alien abductions. But the official explanation was pilot error, but there was no evidence. Families of the missing passengers demanded answers. None were given. This wasn't the first strange case. In the skies above Texas, farmers had reported seeing glowing aircraft moving in patterns no human plane could match. Witnesses claimed planes would vanish into thin air, leaving no smoke, no fire, nothing. Each time, officials denied it. Each time, the mystery deepened. By the late 1960s, reports increased. An air traffic controller in Chicago picked up a voice requesting landing clearance. The strange part, the call sign matched a flight number that had disappeared 2 decades earlier. Controllers froze. Was it a hoax, or was the missing flight still out there? Airlines began receiving complaints. Families claimed their loved ones never boarded the plane, yet their names were printed on passenger lists. When investigators checked deeper, some names didn't even exist in government records. Passengers who were never born but were recorded as missing. The pattern was clear. America's skies were not only carrying people, they were carrying secrets. Secrets no one wanted to admit. They don't want you to know what happened to these planes. In the 1970s, declassified files revealed something darker. The CIN, the Air Force, had been tracking unidentified aerial vehicles over U.S. skies. These crafts could outrun jets, vanish from radar, and reappear miles away. One memo even mentioned civilian aircraft interference, and that wasn't the only one. There were others. Lines were blacked out, hiding more than they revealed. A retired pilot from Florida spoke out. He shared pages from a missing colleague's diary. The final words, "The sky is not ours alone." No one could explain the meaning, but the handwriting was real. In New Mexico, a private pilot reported being followed by a silent triangular craft. His plane's instruments failed. The engine sputtered. For minutes, he was helpless. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the craft vanished. His plane recovered, and he landed shaken. Meanwhile, strange passenger list anomalies continued. In Boston, a historian compared flight records and found dozens of passengers whose identities could not be traced. No birth certificates, no employment records, no family. As if they were placed there to vanish with the planes. Even the black boxes offered no help. When recovered, the recordings did not contain cockpit voices or technical data, just static filled with whispers playing on loop. Experts claimed it was radio interference, but others swore they heard human voices repeating warnings that no one could understand. The press began connecting the dots. From Nevada to Texas, from Chicago to New Mexico, and from Boston to Denver, the skies of America carried shadows. Flights vanished, passengers erased, pilots silenced. Still, officials denied everything. The story remained buried, that too many people had seen too much. By the 1980s, ordinary Americans started noticing what the officials ignored. In Colorado, entire neighborhoods reported seeing strange lights above Denver. They moved in sharp angles, forming patterns no plane could. Local news called it the Denver Sky Mystery. The officials brushed it off as weather balloons. But the lights kept coming back. Pilots flying commercial routes reported unknown aircraft following them. Sometimes above the Rockies, sometimes over the plains. These crafts never showed up on radar, but passengers claimed to see glowing shapes outside their windows. In Texas, ranchers found pieces of wreckage in fields. Shiny, light as paper, impossible to burn. They turned the fragments over to the authorities. The fragments were never seen again. Ranchers were told they had found scrap metal. Few believed it. Meanwhile, families of the missing still demanded closure. Decades had passed since the flights disappeared, but no answers came. Some grew old waiting. Others died without knowing the truth. Journalists dug deeper. They discovered reports of pilots who vanished midair, but were listed as alive in military records. Some were even reported as serving overseas after their disappearance. How could a dead pilot still be active? Every clue led to the same terrifying idea. Someone or something was taking planes, and those who survived long enough to talk were silenced. Denver became a symbol. People gathered on rooftops to watch the skies, waiting for the strange lights. Sometimes they came, sometimes they didn't. But every time they did, the fear spread. The mystery was no longer hidden. It was right above America's largest cities. Do planes really vanish into thin air? By the 1990s, a journalist in New York pieced the puzzle together. He studied every missing flight, every strange passenger list, every black box filled with whispers. His conclusion was chilling. Not all flights crash, some are taken. The journalist pointed to patterns: flights disappearing over military zones, flights erased from radar, passengers who never existed, pilots who warned of silent crafts. He published a series of articles. Some called him insane. Others called him brave. Within weeks, he vanished. His notes disappeared. His office was cleared. Only copies of his articles remained. Today, the mystery still hangs in America's skies. From Nevada's desert to New York's towers, from Texas farms to Colorado's mountains, stories remain the same. Planes vanish. Strange lights appear. Passengers disappear from history. Pilots whisper among themselves. Some refuse to fly certain routes at night. Air traffic controllers know the truth but will never speak. Families still wait for answers. The question is not whether planes vanish. The question is, where do they go? Some believe it's government experiments. Some believe it's visitors from beyond Earth. Others say it's something far stranger, something humanity is not ready to face. But the skies above America hold their secrets tightly. And every time a plane lifts off, every time passengers buckle their seatbelts, the question rises again. Will this flight land, or will it become another mystery above America?